Hello and welcome to episode number 75 of the Nintendo Jump Podcast. We are a weekly discussion podcast created for Nintendo gamers by Nintendo gamers. It's the week of November 25th, otherwise known as Thanksgiving week. My name is Daryl. Today, I'm once again joined by our good friend Sergio. How are you, man?
I'm doing absolutely amazing yet again. It's just been a bunch of really good weeks. Really good. Everything is perfect.
I'm super glad to hear that. I have some opinions as to why that is. So you still enjoying Pokemon then?
Oh, definitely.
Nice. Very nice. I am not. And
Oh.
also this week, we are joined by Kevin. How are you, man?
You know what? I'm doing decent. I did have organic raw kombucha ginger lemonade from Kirkland Signature, and as you know, if you may not know, that is a Costco brand, and it sucks because every time I open the bottle, it spills out. It just spills out like it was shaken, but I didn't shake it. I just took it out of the fridge. I'm like, I'm gonna drink it, and then it spills out. I'm like, I now have to clean up the mess.
Just because you're too excited, man.
Well, see, the thing is, I did not shake it. I gently picked it up from the bottom of the fridge.
Do you have any witnesses that would testify that you did not shake it?
Okay, well, hold on. I'm not going to just do it just for the sake. Well, okay, maybe I should, but okay, that part sucks. It's a decent drink, but that part sucks. I don't like.
By the way, sponsor us, Costco.
Sponsor us, Costco. I do
so
like
how
everything
else
else.
are you doing besides spilling kombucha all over the floor?
Before I do that, I do love Costco. I love your rotisserie chicken and ribs. And I'm doing pretty well. I was trying to say something for Costco, where to keep the costs low. Okay, I'm done.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
I'm not even gonna ask how you are. I'm okay too. Since you didn't ask.
Okay, wait. I was gonna ask you.
No, you weren't.
Hold
You were
on.
gonna keep talking about Costco.
Well, I was gonna say that one
now
thing.
they just keep
and
messing
then
stuff up for your life.
Well, they just messed up this one thing, but Daryl, I do care about how you're doing, so I'm glad you're doing okay.
Thanks, man. I'm
okay.
Okay. Yeah. So for clarity, when I said I'm not still enjoying Pokemon, well, I'm not. I beat it, so I'm done. There we go. I'm done enjoying Pokemon for a long time. So, that's actually kind of a lie. Not a big lie, but I'll get to that in a second. So I have an apology / revisement to something that I said last week. Last week, I said we were going to talk about Pokemon this week. We're not going to talk about Pokemon this week other than...
No.
Other than just, in passing here and there. We've changed some things up. So I'm pretty proud to announce that Pokemon is actually going to be... Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to be our Game of the Month for December. Hooray!
Bam! Yeah.
Now, since December is kind of a strange month with holidays and such, and we can't plan way too far in advance, we're actually going to have the Game of the Month episode for Pokemon on the week of December 12th. So that's around the second week of December. It will have been out for just about a month at that point. So yeah, we'll definitely keep you in the loop as those things are going. Now, you might be thinking, well, your Game of the Month for November was Luigi's Mansion. No, we're not going to talk about that either. We're going to talk about that next week and wrap up our Game of the Month for November. So we're going to have basically 2 Game of the Month episodes in a row. Should be fun, actually. I mean, just help us, bear with us. But with all that said, that's my bad on that. I kind of, I got excited and jumped the gun. But with all that said, Kevin, what are we talking about this week? Because I don't know.
We are talking about things we are thankful for. That had no musical rhythm.
Well, for a little bit it was the McDonald's I'm loving it thing. Oh.
But yeah.
No, now we can't be monetized.
Oh, okay. Well, man. All right, but yeah, for real though, we are going to talk about things that we are thankful for. And then we have a special interview that we've done for y'all to listen.
We just wrapped up.
I'm I'm so excited about
Which
it.
is why we're in like mid-podcast form right now, because we have been talking for a little while. We just wrapped up. What do we wrap up, Kevin?
We wrapped up an interview with Andy Schatz, CEO, game developer, game designer for Pocketwatch Games. We were talking about him and a bit about, one of the best games out there, Monaco, what's yours is mine. And, I don't even know what to say. I was smiling from ear to ear, and I gotta say, Daryl did an amazing job facilitating the interview. I asked some questions here and there, but man, it was just good to hear Andy talk about his experience. And you might be surprised by what he has to say, but for this sort of thing, we keep it 100. And I hope that y'all enjoyed the interview as much as we did, because it's something special. I mean, the guy is an OG indie guy. Like, I just said guy twice in the same sentence, but that's how awesome
guy
he
is a guy. He's a
an
totally
OG
cool guy.
Well, and I say that because, just by the way he's talking about, the industry, what he had to go through. I'm not gonna spoil anymore. I'm done. Let's just get into.
You will hear the interview at the end of this episode, and same thing that we did before. There will also be a separate video of the audio that we post out there too. So we'll also probably have a transcript of it too, if you prefer reading. So yeah, we'll get it out there. So look forward to that at the end of this episode. But for now, we're going to get into some things we are thankful for. So like I said, it is the week of Thanksgiving in the United States. So, we're all thankful for some stuff. Some of it is real. Some of it is a little sarcastic. That's okay. I think it's been a while since Sergio talked. So Sergio, what you got, man?
The thing that comes to mind first, and that has been driving me for the past few weeks, and I guess it's not Pokemon per se. It's not that directly, but it's tied to it. I'm very thankful for nostalgia.
Oh,
whoa, that's a yeah. I mean, that's a strong start. Like,
so why exactly are you thankful for nostalgia?
Feeling nostalgic is just feeling good about previous times that you felt good. So you just keep the good feelings going. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Sword. Funny thing is, I'm playing but listening to my music, and while the music in the game it's amazing, what I've actually been doing is listening to Pokemon music on shuffle.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh man.
So it's just bringing me back to the many different generations and areas that I play these Pokemon games in, including the spin-offs. So it's just bringing everything back, my history with this amazing series, which has been pretty much from the beginning. So it's not just been enjoying this single game or pair of games that just came out. It's kind of bringing everything back to me. It's reminding me why I love Pokemon, why it's up there. Like, honestly, like, it's toe to toe with Animal Crossing, how much I love this series. And the feeling on nostalgia is, I think it's a good thing to be thankful for. It reminds you of the good things, and it makes you look forward to those things in the future because they're good.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, and nostalgia is such a strong feeling to have for, especially with Pokemon. I mean, even with my love-hate relationship with Pokemon, I still have a great time, playing Pokemon Shield, and and it's awesome that you listen to Pokemon music, just in the background. Like, I do as well. Not well. There's certain songs that I listen to, but anyway, yeah, it's just, man, nostalgia, man. That's when you think about the good times. Yeah, you think about the good times. You think about what some of the things that happened meant to you, and Pokemon's been a huge part. Like, just from the start of Pokemon Blue for me, being able to play with my other friends in 4th grade, like, it was just like the biggest thing ever since sliced bread at the time. And it's just like, whoa, why is me playing Pokemon remind me of that? Well, it's because it's Pokemon, and it's good to think about those things.
Nostalgia
I
is
mean,
just so weird, though. I mean, I've been
yeah.
in the past. I've been playing a game that I played, when I was a kid, and my mind does this weird like warp thing where I am literally back sitting on my parents' old couch. Like I see everything the way it was. I hear it, everything, and it's like a gaming song will do that to me. It's really
Yeah.
odd, and that you just get these weird like deja vu flashbacks almost of wait, I was here doing this at this time in this game, and gaming triggers that a lot. And
Yes.
I'm sure there's some psychology behind that I just don't understand, but it's really kind of eerie at times.
Yeah.
What's weird is when I have like this dual nostalgia where like I'll be playing a game and then I will suddenly flash back to a time that I was playing a game while watching a different show. So I will feel nostalgic about the show I was watching when I'm playing this new game. It's really weird.
Whoa.
I could use to research this so I stop freaking myself out a little bit.
No, that's all good. I mean, I have those times too, especially when, like, if it's a game that I can just play on autopilot, and I would probably have like either music on or I don't know, some NBA basketball highlights. I just want to hear in the background and just try to hear the commentator, talk about the game. And even though I'm just playing like some mindless game, like, I don't know, Football Simulator 2011, which I have said before that I'm done with that series. I cannot play it anymore. But even for games like that, like I think about those kind of, certain games that I've watched in the past. So I don't know. I just love basketball, so whatever.
All right, Kevin, what is the first thing that you are thankful for in this time of Thanksgiving?
Okay, well, so I'm thankful for every time we talk about kombucha and we try to sponsor it, but we just say no, we're not. We don't want to be sponsored. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind then.
It's not that we don't want to be sponsored because, I mean, don't get me wrong, that'd be fantastic. Specifically,
Yeah.
they should not want to sponsor us. It's not worth it. I promise it's not. So,
Well, here's the thing. I mean, yeah, like we don't talk about kombucha in our podcast except me talking about it, but I do want to say one thing though about kombucha is that I am thankful for it. It is the one drink that got me thinking about, just the city I live in, Portland, and I never heard of kombucha until I got here, and it's literally it's great because when I drink kombucha, I don't have to drink like stuff like soda. Although there is soda water with vodka, but that's a different story. But just with it not only is it healthy, it's a nice drink to have. It satisfies my sweet drink fixins and it's just yeah. Because then I mean it's good for your gut. You feel and it keeps me with my healthy lifestyle. So I am thankful for kombucha. Now I do understand that it can be a bit vinegary, and there are certain kombuchas that I've had before that are not good. I'm not gonna say it on this podcast because in some ways I still want to be sponsored. Well, maybe I might have broken that with
Dude.
Kirkland's signature. But,
Yes.
no, it's over now.
Okay. It's over now. It's over now.
over.
But Dr. Brew, if you're hearing me, please.
Oh, no, stop. Just
Okay.
stop.
No, but I honestly though I do want to. What I am thankful for is that y'all allow me to be a bit wacky about these sort of intros. So I think that's what I'm thankful for.
Dude, we can't stop you. We tried.
Well, yeah, that's true.
All right. So
All right, what's yours?
I am thankful to Nintendo, and specifically for making, some advancements in the Switch family of hardware. Specifically, for making me spend $300 on the same console with about 3 hours more battery life. So thanks, Nintendo. That's awesome. Also, I want to thank Nintendo for releasing a smaller version of the Switch with which we can consistently and constantly taunt our co-hosts. So, yeah, Thank you for the Switch Lite.
Yes, that's a big thing.
Thank
Nintendo.
you so much for the Switch Lite. I
You know,
could not have replicated this any other way. So there you go.
I did hold one at the Narita International Airport on my last day in Japan. I thought about buying one.
And now I have 6 of them.
You're just gonna see like a picture of like all these Switch Lights. Man, I don't know. I just don't want to say anything about it right now. Given my Switch history, I don't. No, I don't have 6. I have 4. No, I don't have any. But you never know. If Animal Crossing comes up with a special edition Switch, maybe I'll bite. Yeah, I mean, or if it's light green or vermilion or British Racing green color, which I don't know if that's gonna happen. Yeah, I think I might get one. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough.
Nice. And speaking of Animal Crossing,
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the free time that I have now.
Yeah.
Because I know that come late March next year, it's all gonna be dedicated to that series.
Ooh.
Well, I cannot wait for that. Yeah, it's nice to have the freedom right now to play other games. Like I'm enjoying Pokemon. I still have a couple of games that I want to play between Pokemon and Animal Crossing. I'm hoping that it happens, but it's just nice to have the opportunity before a certain game that you love just takes over your life, and you want that to happen. You cannot wait for that to happen. So it's totally okay, and I'm thankful for what I have now before it all fades away.
Well, hold on.
This could also be, I'm thankful for the outside, which I won't see again.
But you did pre-order Final Fantasy VII Remake, so how is that going to fit into the equation?
Oh, it's not.
Okay, well, that's over. That's over. All right, moving on.
That was blunt, but it's true. It's
We
funny 'cause
all
it's true.
know the answer to that.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I'm excited for Animal Crossing. I've never owned an Animal Crossing game, so look forward to it. Yes.
Nice.
All right, Kevin, number 2.
Number 2. Okay, so let's see. I am thankful for. I don't want this to be sappy. It was not intended to be sappy, but I am thankful for our podcast.
Boo.
I think. Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. I'm gonna reserve my cuss words. Just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I'm gonna reserve my cuss words. So I am thankful for this podcast. I think that we're doing really great things here. Not just getting the opportunity to interview people and having special guests on, like some of our some of the friends from our community. But I think just having this consistency of being able to talk about video games, and I've said before, this is like therapy to me, and I think it's great that video games has given me this sort of like outlet. Because before even before I heard about Discord and like just the whole Nintendo Switch craze, like generally video games was just like, oh, play with my friends and play by myself for a while, and then with my former college housemates and all that, and it was really good, but I think it just got to the point where it's just, I don't know. It felt like something was missing, and then boom, this whole Discord thing, Nintendo Switch craze, and we met through different podcast community, and then now we're here, and it's like, whoa, like such a whirlwind, and just all these things happening, and it's been. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate, Oh, and I appreciate Beckzilla, because she has been a great help with. I mean, she's literally one of us. Has put in a bunch of work into the podcast, and just our community has been really strong. So, we are small. We just crossed 20,000 listens, which I think is pretty phenomenal. But I think we do have a good number of people listening to us, and even though it's not like thousands and thousands. I mean, everyone means a lot. So I just gotta say that I don't want to get too much into the territory of cheese and corn, but I did. I hate doing these sort of sappy things, but I have to say it. And hate as in love. I just try not to say these sappy things, but this is important. So gotta say it. I'm done.
Nice.
Oh, right. So, yeah, I'm, for the record, Bexel is my wife. I'm also thankful for her, but that's not my answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to say that too. So,
Yes.
and you guys, whatever. Anyways, so for my real one, it's also a little sappy. I apologize. 2 sappy ones in a row. But I am thankful to Game Freak for Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh.
I'm just letting the tension build here for a second.
Wait a second.
Because everybody's going, wait. Where's
I
he gonna
don't
go?
know.
I am
Yeah.
thankful to Game Freak for Pokemon Sword and Shield for showing me that I probably don't need to ever play a Pokemon game again. So yeah, so it was a nice experiment. Contrary to how I've been talking, I didn't hate the game. It's fun to kind of hate it, but I didn't really. But it's not my cup of tea. But anyways, yeah. So thank you to Game Freak for giving me the opportunity to realize, you're probably not for me. Also, thank you to Pokemon for allowing me to do the most Pokemon thing of all time, which, upon announcing my intention to sell the game, our good friend of the show, Dragon, said, "Hey, before you sell it, can I have your legendaries?" And I did the most Pokemon thing in history by saying, "No, you gotta battle me for them." And so, Dragon and I are going to have a Pokemon battle to determine whether he gets my legendary Pokemon. Champion team versus champion team. Epic battle of the century. Let's go.
Nice.
Oh, damn. Can you stream it?
No, unfortunately I can't. But what I will do, and I actually made this agreement already, I will transcribe a move-by-move recap of what happened in the battle
Nice.
in our Discord. If you want to be involved,
Wait.
join our
So,
Discord.
Is that gonna be like where you guys are battling, and then before you make a move, you type what you're gonna do, and then you do it?
Absolutely.
And
Nice.
it's not very effective, and then Dragon does something. I don't know. It's just,
Absolutely.
oh my god.
100%.
Okay, I'm down.
And I don't know
see
Pokemon very well, so if I miss the cue on the screen, I'm literally just gonna make up what I think it was. So should be fun.
I think that works better. That'll work great. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. So tune in.
Okay, great.
That's it.
Okay.
Sergio, number 3.
Yeah.
Nice. Number 3. Yeah, let's make it 3 sappy ones in a row. Why don't we?
Ooh.
I am thankful for Discord in general as a platform. I guess more specifically because it is how I met, first of all, you guys, and then most of our listeners, and just downright friends, people that I consider my friends and that I talk to on a very constant basis, even daily. And let's see, I've been on Discord for about 2.5 years. And through that time, you play games or you enjoy other hobbies or other events that are going on, and you share them with people and you share their successes and their likes, the things they like, and you support them when they need support. And just having friends through this amazing platform and just being connected there pretty constantly, it's been awesome. It's been different for me, and one of the best things that has been happening for the past couple of years, just meeting new friends, like people all around the world that you actually consider your friends. That is amazing to me.
Yeah, I mean, and I
That
mentioned
actually
before,
was a sappy one.
that's pretty sappy.
I thought you were gonna swerve it.
Swerving surge. No, but yeah, I really like that because then for me, I said it before where it, initially it was hard for me to think about having close relationships with people that I've never met initially. Like, and we still haven't met Daryl, which I would love to sometime, like in person. And then
Absolutely.
and like, you know, meeting Serge, I was very fortunate enough to meet Serge, and like, uh, for him to talk about video games and the way he does, and like, that big Animal Crossing book that he has so dedicated his life towards, and like, that is a really awesome thing to see. And I think it's good to see, like, I think you've grown quite a bit, man. Like, it's just, you know, your jokes and just, I think the way you express yourself with video games, I mean, I think is great. Daryl, you as well, and um, having these close relationships, even though we're talking through online, like, it's just crazy to me. Like, I sometimes I can't fathom how awesome this is at times, because we do it on a week by week basis, and it's just been this train that just keeps going. So I yeah, I'm just gonna add that savvy part. That's it. So yeah.
Cool.
It's actually your turn, Kevin.
Okay,
Unless you
great.
want to just use that one.
No, okay. Well, I was gonna say something. So I am thankful for. I'm thankful for. Now this might sound kind of weird, but I am thankful for traveling, even though I did miss. I sadly miss recording with you guys while I was away. Traveling is such a big thing in my life, because I mentioned before last episode, but when you travel, you get to learn about other people's cultures. I mean, it goes beyond food. It goes beyond going to touristy spots. I mean, you put yourself in a situation where you're uncomfortable, and you get to learn about other people, even if it's through small talk. And I think, putting yourself in that position helps you not only reflect on your own life, but think about the things that you can do to move forward and become a better person, to become a better you. So, it goes with a lot of things. I mean, traveling is the most invaluable thing you can ever do in your life. Just going outside your comfort zone and going to a different country, even a different state. I mean, that's one of the things why I moved to Portland. I mean, it's outside the state of California, and I mean, sometimes you want to see whether the grass is green on the other side. Sometimes you want to see if you can make a better life out of your own career and your own desires, and it's bittersweet because, like, obviously, there were sacrifices that had to be made. I've lost connection with a bunch of people that I used to talk to. I still keep in touch with people, with really close friends at home back in SoCal, but these are things that you know help me strike a balance in my life, and I think when you have that sort of mentality of being able to step out of your zone, good things will happen. I mean, I took a chance on you guys. I took a chance on Portland. I took a chance on, just living this life. I mean, I cut out beef and lamb and beer on my diet. Like, I don't know if I said that, but that is a really hard thing for me to do. I've been doing it for almost a year. And so traveling and sacrifices, that's what I'm thankful for. So.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
All right, so I got a real one.
Okay. Wait, hold on.
No. My first couple have been kind of sarcastic, but I got a real one.
Okay.
I got a real one. I'll get to the sappy one later, but this is my real non-sappy one. I'm thankful to Masahiro Sakurai for his continued work, obviously along with his team on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and the absolute roller coaster that it has been this year, all the way from the Game Awards last year, which was just about a year ago at this point, where we learned about Joker being the first DLC character, through everyone that we've gotten since, the craziness, of Hero and Banjo, and then Terry, and trying to educate everybody on exactly who Terry is, and all this, speculation on number 5, who's probably going to be revealed in a couple weeks at this point at the Game Awards, probably. And not to even mention, like, the half-hour to 45-minute videos that are among my favorite, most hilarious things to watch ever, that he's done for now Hero and Banjo and Terry. Just incredible videos. Love them. Love the work he's doing. So yeah, I'm thankful to that man.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just that, like, when you see him do those videos of like playing with the characters like Terry or even Banjo Kazooie, like, you really get to see. Hopefully, that's the real him, and like, just, I mean, how much fun he's having, like the joy that comes
He's
out of
just
it.
a funny, quirky guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's really fun to watch. So
It's great, and man, I mean, hopefully he does more of those. Maybe in different contexts or like different like material. Like, even if it's like, I mean, I could see him doing like being a food guide like around his like neighborhood. I don't know. Like, I would watch him just talk about food. I'd be different.
absolutely, 100%.
Sign me up.
Yes. All right.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop nerding. Sergio, one more round. Last thank yous. Number 4. Let's go.
Oh man. Well, you know what? Yeah, let's go with this one. I am thankful for the addition of Terry Bogard to Super Smash.
Oh.
Now that
Beautiful.
everything is said and done, yes, there was, like you mentioned, there were a lot of jokes, and there were times when I was a bit of a jerk, discussing, why is this guy here, whoever he is. But no, learning who he is and where he's been and the history that he has in the many fighting franchises that he's been a part of. It's been an opening experience. It's very nice to learn about these things. And, I'm not the biggest fighting game aficionado. I do like Smash, and I do consider a fighting game, but that's about as far as I go. But even with that, it's nice to know about the others because I can see people passionate about these other franchises, and it's very nice to learn at least a little bit to be relatable enough with the people that like the King of Fighters or Fate of Fury or what have you. Like, so many different franchises that have been in Smash Brothers, and Terry Bogard taught me all of that in a way. So I'm thankful for that, and definitely thanks to Sakurai as well.
Nice. Very nice.
good.
Kevin, number 4, man.
Yep. Number 4. Okay. Man, gosh, we got a lot of things to be thankful for. Oh, man. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm thankful for, just, gosh, that's really hard. Can we Okay, I got one. Okay.
Are you thankful for edit breaks?
For the record,
I am actually
thankful for Sergio. That is,
yeah.
I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I am thankful for Sergio. I mean, well, if I guess I'll have Daryl talk about that, but I am thankful for you, Sergio. I mean, you're like a magician of an editor. Like, I don't even know how you do it. Like, and you have like 2 podcasts too. It's like, holy bleep.
Dude, you got 3 podcasts, so I don't know.
Oh, I have 3.
Yeah.
I have 3.
Did you forget about it?
Oh yeah, I have F-Zero Lovers and something about Uncharted.
It's obviously the Uncharted BFFs podcast.
Oh
at
yeah,
Uncharted BFFs. Follow them on Twitter. They
How
post a
do
lot,
I-
I promise.
How did I not? How did I forget about that? So,
All right, Kevin, do you have a real one?
yeah, I do. I do have a real one. Yeah, I do. I'm just thankful for the process. The process of the daily grind of like waking up, going to work, and just looking forward to the day, and and even interacting with the community, which is part of the daily grind, and talking to you guys, getting ready for the podcast. One of the excuse me, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, Kobe Bryant, he talked about how the process is the dream, and I totally agree. We strive for perfection, but obviously we're not all perfect. But it's not it's not about being perfect, but it's about the process that goes with it. Like, you have a mountain they're constantly climbing, like in Celeste, and yes, there are times where you may reach the top, but you shouldn't be satisfied with being there, because it's always should be like an ascending climb. And I think in my life, especially this year, I mentioned I gave up a few things that my friends initially thought that it was unspeakable for me to give up, like beef and lamb and beer of all things, but it definitely benefited me in terms of my health. I mean, I'm honestly in the best shape of my life right now, and like, just if you were to compare me from like even like a year before, um, it's a big difference. And I don't say that to brag or to be arrogant or cocky. I'm saying that because it comes from a lot of confidence. Just being somebody who struggled with his weight and the way he looks for a long time, I think being able to have like a process, some sort of consistency, really goes a long way. And doing the podcast with you guys is part of that process. So, uh, I say this because I mean it's possible. Like if you are not satisfied with who you are, like you can work on it. You just take little steps. I mean, just try to have that goal and be able to just do the dirty work. Put in the work because you never know. Um, Maybe you may not like who you are now, but if you put the time in, you put the work in, you're gonna see great results. Like I guarantee it. And I'm not trying to be like this motivation speaker kind of guy, but uh, I'm saying that from a lot of confidence. Just that I've been able to obtain over this past year, and like I'm about to be 31 soon. Like it's we're in the I mean like I'm in the 30s now. Like holy believe like it's crazy just thinking about it because like you know what is time? Time is just this thing that we're all in, and we're just trying to do the. I'm not. I don't know where I'm going with this, but like I'm just saying that.
Metaphysical comments with Kevin.
you know, I've read this before in one of my poems, but like or lyrical verses. Time is a thief, and you know you gotta do what you can to maximize everything you have in life, and that's why the process is so important. Because if you don't have a process, how else are you going to grow? You got to be able to just work your way every day. Like even if it sucks, even if there's things that you're uncomfortable with, like you're gonna find that amazing things happen in life when you work for it. So.
So if time is a thief, does that automatically mean that you like love time? Anyways, I'll just move on.
I actually do, because it makes me realize that you cannot take things for granted. Like we don't have all the time in the world. Like even for video games, like I struggle to even find time to play everything I want. Like it was a miracle to even finish one playthrough of Fire Emblem. So I mean, just imagine, and I still have to finish Pokemon. So it's like,
And Luigi.
And Luigi. Oh my goodness. So.
And a couple other games. And
And,
F-Zero GX.
Oh, here we go.
So here's what I'm gonna move on to my last one. And
yeah, please.
I started out sarcastic so I could build up to sappy. So get ready, guys.
Okay.
I think I'm thankful for you guys. To be honest, and this was a little endeavor that I wanted to start for probably years at this point, and you guys were the ones who jumped on and said yes. Let's finally do it. Let's commit. Let's learn how to do this. In your case, Sergio, you kind of knew how to do it, parts of it, but we did a little bit different. So
Yeah.
Honestly, I am thankful for you guys a lot. Sergio, editing our episodes has been fantastic. Kevin, the energy you bring, also fantastic. It's just it's unmatched, and it's been a really good part of my life for over a year now. So there you go. I am thankful to our community, who have quickly become some of my better friends, period, like online or otherwise, and I haven't met them. And that's fun to say, that I met these people without any of the actual trappings of meeting somebody. So, I don't necessarily know what they look like or sound like or anything like that, but I feel like I kind of know them, or at least the persona that they put on, and that's good enough. I'm good with that. I like
Right.
it, and I like talking to these people. So yeah, our Discord is magic, and I'm thankful for that. And kind of a big part of that, I'm thankful, and I posted about this a little bit. I'm honestly thankful to our patrons on Patreon, for unbelievably throwing money at something that we did. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why you do it, but no, seriously, thank you. And I think that is it. So yeah, you guys, definitely my wife, who is, like set up the website, really was kind of the driving force behind like Game of the Month and a lot of the stuff that we've done, always a sounding board and such. So it's a strong thing. It's been a big part of my life. It's been a good part of my life. So yeah, there's my sappiness. Congratulations.
Wow, yeah, I echo the same sentiments. I appreciate you both, especially. I mean, you guys have definitely made me a better person just through, just going through this whole podcast thing, and I mean, just having video games come into my life again in such a way that I could not have imagined possible. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's wow. I don't know what to say. It's just crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe we're even here. Like, we just came off of doing a really awesome interview with a developer, which I never would have imagined we would ever do. And now we're talking about things that we're thankful for, and then the music episodes, and then stuff about like, Danny's favorite episode 10, with the psychology of emotional and like mental stuff about video games and how it affects our well-being. And I just said a bunch of adjectives that made no sense, or it does make sense, but I think that we just have a really good thing here, and we are a tremendously awesome team. I mean, like,
all right, pat ourselves on the back a little
pat
bit.
on the back,
and there you go. Okay,
we're done.
Cool.
Well, I am.
Sergio, you got anything else, or should you want to jump into the question?
We do have a question. Well, yes, definitely. Thank you guys, and thank you everyone that listens and everyone that supports this podcast. It's an honor. It's a pleasure, and we all look forward to many more of this all the time. Thank you so much.
At least a few.
And we do have a question for this week, because recently we passed the 15th anniversary of the Nintendo DS. It has been around with us for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And we wanted to ask you, what Nintendo DS game would you recommend that is underrated? An underrated DS game that you would recommend to someone that they could even play even now, even today.
I like that question. That's a great one.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can go first if
we'll talk about it next week, my friend. And in case you're wondering why we didn't go over last week's answers, because we didn't actually post last week's episode yet. We're recording this early, so next week we'll come back with the answers to both questions. There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
Right.
Cool.
Nice.
And then keep in mind, next week is our big blowout for Luigi's Mansion 3, our game of the month for November. So if you do want to submit some reviews, comments, feelings, thoughts, whatever you have for the game, please send those in to our email address, which Sergio is about to give you in just a few minutes, or on Discord, and we will include you in the show. Please keep them under a couple minutes, and we'll go from there.
Cool.
Sounds good. And yeah, with that, thanks for listening, everyone. We're gonna jump out of here. But you can keep the discussion going by chatting with us on our Discord group. The description for this episode has a link to our Discord if you would like to join. We are also on Twitter and on Instagram as Nintendo Jump, and we also have a Facebook group. Please send us any feedback you have at NintendoJumpPodcast@gmail.com, as well as your comments on Luigi's Mansion 3. The best way to support this show is through our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/NintendoJump, or by leaving a review for this show in your favorite podcast application. We would really appreciate it. This is Sergio, and on behalf of Daryl and Kevin, thank you for listening. We hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I really like that battle theme a bit more than Hops right now. It's BB's battle theme in Pokemon
Nice.
Sword and Shield. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, hello and welcome to another developer interview with the Nintendo Jump Podcast. My name, as you know, is Daryl. Today I'm joined by Kevin, and we're also joined by a very special guest, Andy Schatz, the lead developer, owner, CEO, founder of Pocketwatch Games, and developer of the recent Switch game, Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine. Hey, Andy, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here on this very special episode. I feel like we should be doing some sort of I don't know, high school drug education or something like that, or a teen pregnancy thing. It's a very special episode after all.
I mean, it is a very special episode. So yeah, we're gonna have we're gonna start this with "The More You Know" right off the bat. I'm gonna start singing "I'm So Excited" at some point in the episode. So
perfect.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we're super glad to have you on. Monaco just came to Switch, so hey, timely and topical. But I mean, Kevin, you love this game, so I'm going to let you kind of have the floor.
Thanks. Yeah, as y'all may or may not know, I've played Monaco since its inception back in 2013. I love the Thief Heist genre, always been a fan, and I was looking for a game that would fit that bill, and Monaco with Yours Is Mine fit perfectly. Definitely fun playing with friends or even solo as well. But I guess to start off, for anyone who hasn't played it, can you describe Monaco What's Yours Is Mine?
Sure. So it's a top-down game where that I like to describe as like Ocean's 11 meets Pac-Man.
Nice.
So
yes.
you're like running around in these top-down environments, and the game has this visibility mechanic where the things that you can see show up in like full color, and the things you can't see render like their blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stealth game, but it's like an action stealth game. If you describe it as a stealth game and people expect Metal Gear Solid or Splinter Cell or something like that, and then you start playing the game and you realize, oh no, this game is just as much about failure as it is about success. So you're being chased and it's like Benny Hill in there, and then you get around a corner and you can hide in a closet and kind of reset things, and you aren't punished for that. So you can also play cooperatively, and co-op is what the game is probably best known for. So people can play different characters. So one person might play the gentleman, who is like the master of disguise. Another person is the hacker. Another person plays the redhead, and she distracts guards by like wiggling her hips at them. Or the the cleaner is like the violent guy that uses chloroform to knock guards out. The locksmith gets through doors faster, that kind of thing. So the game plays can vary very wildly between like very careful, very tense, and then extremely wild all at the same time, because someone gets seen by a guard and then everything goes to hell. So it's like there's always that moment where you're like cursing the one guy who brought the gun to the heist that was supposed to be perfectly silent, So yeah, it's a stealth game that can go crazy. It's a stealth game where things are supposed to go crazy. Really fun with friends, and it's got a cool story in it too. So
yeah, so like you were saying, I mean, you've got a lot of different influences here. It doesn't really play like a Splinter Cell or Metal Gear game so much. Can you talk about some of the influences that you had actually had for the game? Like what actually kind of went into this?
Yeah, so originally this was a long time ago when I first sort of came up with the concept for the game. But it was when I was playing the Hitman game, I think 2 generations prior on consoles.
Oh, nice.
And I realized that the mini-map or the map on Hitman, where you could see the guard movements on the map, was a lot of times more informative than the actual view of the game world itself, right? So like that map would allow you to kind of see behind walls and see where guards were moving around the environment. And I kind of wanted to just play that game. I wanted to just move around on the mini map itself, to try and avoid the guards and hide behind doors and things like that. So that was one of the original influences. That combined with like the original Gauntlet.
Oh man,
there we go.
And then as far as controls go, the controls are ultra simple. You control pretty much everything just with the analog stick, and then very occasionally you push a trigger or you pull a trigger in order to use like your whatever special ability you have equipped. And so everything is timer based. So if you want to go through a door that's locked, you push against the door, and depending upon your character's particular skill set, you go through it in a certain amount of time. And everything sort of operates with that tension of time versus skills. And so that the simplicity of those controls actually comes from the original Geometry Wars on the Xbox 360.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it
Ooh,
was.
there we go. Yeah.
Where everything is just analog sticks, and then occasionally you have pardon my French, but you have an oh shit button. And that was the inspiration for the controls on Monaco. I wanted to have it be like everything controlled just with the analog sticks, but then add in an oh shit button.
I loved Geometry Wars so much. I never actually owned an Xbox or 360 originally, but my friends did, and I would go over to their house and play that game like nonstop. That makes a lot of sense, actually, and I wouldn't have put that together.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite. As a designer, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I would think. I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so simple and pure. But you can really get into what's called flow, or into the zone basically when you're playing the game. Maybe better than any game I can remember playing.
So you talked about a stealth game that can go crazy. You talked about how there's like this tension with time. When you were starting on the game, did you know exactly what you wanted it to be, or was it more fluid? I think you might have alluded to it a bit.
Yeah, it was a long process to Monaco. I came up with the concept of Monaco when I was working at my last AAA job before I went indie. I went indie in 2005.
Ooh,
a long time ago.
Wow,
dang, that is.
Yeah, I've been running my business since then. And so I came up with this concept when I was working at my previous job in 2000. So it would have been like 2004 when I came up with the concept. But I originally envisioned it as this like 3D world where you build your environment, but then you go in and you sneak in with friends and you have skills and stuff like that. Kind of all of the same core concepts, but I hadn't really totally fleshed out the whole thing. And then, I've made some other games as an indie, and then eventually I pulled this old concept out and wanted to try and prototype some version of it, but some version of it that I could do all by myself, so that I wouldn't need like a big team to do. And so I started prototyping this top-down 2D version of it, and it was fun within like a day. So I just kept cranking on it and built it up and built a team up around the game. So started working on it at the end of 2009 and then eventually released it in 2013. That's, so it was a long journey. It came, of course, on Steam and Xbox 360 in 2013. And then this is really the first new platform for the game since then.
Yeah.
So,
and it kind of came out of nowhere too. Like it just all of a sudden, hey, Monaco's on Switch, and everybody's like, wait, what?
Yes.
How did that happen exactly?
Well, I think it's a bit of a mistake on my part to do it that way, but the development of the port was we probably should have started earlier, but we when we got near the end of development on the port, we had a hard time pushing the game through lot check,
Gotcha.
which is like the certification process on Nintendo.
Yeah,
right.
And that kept pushing out our release date. And my original plan was I was actually planning on doing the announcement of the game, basically not announce it until it was out, and then I got cold feet on that. And so I decided to announce that it was coming out like a week before it came out,
right,
or a few weeks before it came out, something like that. It's the Switch, the eShop is a tough marketplace right now. There's so much coming out every day. And it's tough to break through the noise. So I kind of wanted to not announce the game until shortly before it was out to try and capitalize on any awareness or attention that the port announcement would get. and then turn that into actual sales.
Yeah, for sure. So what has the reception been like? I mean, obviously the reviews for the original were incredible. The reviews are still incredible. I mean, everybody loves the game. Have you seen that? Have you seen it be successful for you?
No, it hasn't.
Oh no.
Like I said, the eShop is a tough place right now, and there's like tons of games being released every day, and then the if you're not getting specific promotion from Nintendo right now on the eShop, it's very, very difficult to break through the noise. And you'll see that even on the best sellers list, it's mostly people that have dropped their game price to 99 cents for some short amount of time in order to get their game on that.
And that's awful
chart.
too, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very, very difficult marketplace right now. The Switch has done so well, but they don't have really the discoverability tools on the eShop to sort of spread the success around. It tends to, I think the success tends to go to the a small number of very big winners, and more power to them, But it is just a very, very difficult marketplace right now.
And that seems like a really big challenge, just being able to find success in the eShop. I mean, yeah, like you said, there's so many games out there. It's like, you're facing all this competition. But speaking of challenges, like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced when you made Monaco in the first place? Like,
oh boy. Well, I mean, it's been so long, right? I started on it a decade ago.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
Actually more than a decade ago. October of 2009 was when I started working on it.
Yeah.
And then challenges with the game. I mean, so many. Luckily, I guess I'll rephrase the question and say what wasn't a challenge. Well, if there was anything that was surprisingly not a challenge, coming up with the designs and the characters and the story and the levels and all of that. Of course it was a challenge. There were times when I was challenged by it, but everything just kind of flowed. When you're really in that state when things are going well and you're just highly creative. That was always true of Monaco during all of development. The challenges tend to be kind of external things, like what platform do we put the game on? We were about to sign the game with Sony to put it on their platform, and then literally the day I got the contract in my email, the hack, the PSN, there's a major PSN hack in the last generation that kind of scared everyone, and that was literally the day I was going to sign to put the game on there instead of Xbox. And so I decided to back off on that. Things like that. Basically everything that was kind of outside of the game was a challenge on that one. And that's not always been true for all of my games, but for Monaco it was. It was just the development, the creative aspects of development were never a challenge. They were just like, it was so easy to design it. In part because like no one's really done it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of its kind.
People have made Payday, both Payday and Hotline Miami came out just before Monaco did, but most of my creative development happened long time before those two games were out. So I was operating in an environment where no one had made a heist game and no one was making top-down games. So I was like, it was just a total designer's playground because there's so much potential there. And yet no one had done it. So it was really easy to come up with something fresh and new and thematic and fun because it was such untrodden ground at the time.
Well, back when you went, I mean, this, but back when you went indie, I mean, that was in the extremely early days of indie. I'm talking like Cave Story had come out in 2004, right. and that was like one of the first ones that really lit the world on fire, right? So I mean, you were kind of operating in just this brand new workspace, kind of, as it were. I mean, how have you mentioned especially the top-down games, of which now there's a ton of them. How have you seen kind of the landscape shift from that time to now in the past decade?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, it's even more than a decade, right? So it's like I've been in indie for
2005, yeah.
For 15 years now. Will be 15 years next month. Yeah, there's been really major changes. I went indie at what I would describe as really the birth of the modern indie scene. And there are people that were indie before me, so I'm sure they would disagree. That's pretty, it's pretty Andy centric of me to say that, but it feels this way.
That's okay. You're on our podcast, so just say whatever you want.
Right?
All good.
And that was the reason that started. The reason that era was kind of the birth of the modern scene was when digital distribution had first started, but it was all for casual games at the time. It was like Yahoo Games and Big Fish and stuff like that. And that's where all the distribution took place. So there was this big crossover between, people were sort of doing this casual game rush. And you had to like keep your download size under 15 megabytes and things like that. But there was space to do some kind of weird stuff at the time. And so people started experimenting with it. And then the consoles came along, and the Xbox 360 had a really healthy indie environment on XBLA and XBLA IG.
Yeah.
And Steam started to rise at the same time. And then after that, there was Facebook and iPhone and all of that stuff. And so we've gone through all these sort of trends, but the really big ones were, the casual game market was when digital distribution started, and then that moved over to a more core gamer market. And that's kind of where we've been with all these other offshoots with mobile and Facebook and VR and stuff like that being offshoots off of a ecosystem that has largely crystallized since I would say probably since 2013 or so, because that's when the explosion of content on Steam happened.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Monaco came out kind of just before the explosion of games on Steam, and was able to take advantage of the high demand but low supply situation that we were in at that moment. And nowadays, of course, there's a zillion games, and there's also a zillion gamers that would have $1 zillion that they want to spend.
Yeah.
And so there's way more money in it now. And there are more people that are successful, but probably a lower percentage of people that are successful, just because we now have orders of magnitude more people trying to make games. So it was always a challenging, risky place to be, because it wasn't clear whether or not it was even a thing. But it's challenging and risky in different ways now. I think the same thing holds true, and that is to make a game that's successful, you have to make a game that is either better or unique or some combination of both. And way back in the day, it was enough to just, in 2006, you could just say, I made an indie game and it was good.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's enough to be unique, because all indie games were bad.
And the world
so
went,
you make
"Whoa."
a good indie game. Yeah, exactly. Right. And now there's like a zillion good indie games. So you have to be unique in different ways. And not only that, but the metric of good keeps going up, because good, it doesn't just mean good, it means better. Can you make something that people recognize that's better than what they've seen before? Or can you make something that people don't recognize that they discover they actually want? And so those two things are still true. It's just you have to kind of figure out that riddle in different ways now.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're obviously talking about Monaco, which is the game that released on Switch. We are a Nintendo focused podcast. Hey. But since then you have been still developing other games. So specifically your most recent going game right now is Tooth and Tail, right?
Right. That came out on PS4 and Steam and GOG and in 2017.
Yeah,
So
and
2 years ago.
it got, I mean, it got incredible critical reception as well, and I hear a lot of people talking about it too. Is that a game that you would also be looking at maybe porting over to Switch at this point, or are you kind of comfortable with where it is?
I've definitely thought about it. I'd love it on Switch, and I know that for prior to launch, Nintendo would have really liked to have it on Switch. I hate to say it, but with the performance of Monaco being what it is, I doubt that I'm going to be doing any sort of straightforward ports of games. That we'll just have to see what I do next. I suspect as to whether or not it'll end up on the Switch.
Well,
Yeah.
so speaking of next, like what other projects can we look forward to from Pocketwatch Games?
So I've been I actually spent about a year and a half on a project that I canceled not that long ago, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but if something's not good, you don't want to waste more time on it. So that kind of reset things. Right now, I kind of reset things, and I went back to prototyping mode, and right now I'm working on something that I'm getting to be really passionate about. It's really cool. It's I would describe it as Sim Earth but fun. If any of you have ever played the original Sim Earth, you'd know it's trash. It's trash. It's a terrible game.
It's interesting.
It's a terrible game that should be good, and everyone wants a game like that, but no one's really ever done it, and I'm determined to be the one to do it. Just like with Tooth and Tail, I was determined to be the one to make an RTS that could really be played on a console controller and feel like it was native to that.
Yeah, that's
platform.
Nice.
I wanted to take a similar challenge here, where I'm like, no one has ever been able to do this Earth sim, evolution sim game and make it fun and cool. And the closest anyone ever got was Sim Earth, and then Spore, which is also
Right.
kind of trash.
Oh yeah.
And like there've been attempts that kind of nibble around the edges of it. There's certainly attempts at making evolution based games, but they never really strike a chord for me. They never feel like a game. So I'm pretty determined to nail it. And I'm actually pretty deep in on I'm starting with the climate simulation, and I'm pretty deep in on it. And I have what is, I think, probably the most complex climate simulation ever done in a game by far.
Oh, wow.
That is like, it's like really, really deep, but also really accessible. And it's so cool watching, like, I make small changes to my planet, and all of a sudden my ice caps start melting, and it's like, it's really cool seeing,
Nice.
That current come wrap around the continent, and you move the plate tectonics around, and it's like, or you erupt a volcano, and it changes the dynamics of the entire global environment. And it's just, it's super cool. And then on top of that, animals and plant life and all that. I'm still super early on it. I actually stream development almost every day on Twitch.
Ooh. Nice.
So if anyone wants to come and watch me work on it, now it does involve a lot of science and programming and me scratching my head. But if you don't mind me plugging my Twitch channel.
No, please do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/Pocketwatch is the Twitch channel. POCKETWATCH. And come and watch me stream almost every day.
Yeah, I will absolutely do that, and we'll.
Me too.
I
Oh
gotta
my
say,
goodness.
so that sounds utterly fascinating, and also like an absolutely gigantic project for a one-person studio. I mean, do you just hate free time or something like that?
No, that's the thing. Like, when people, like I said, do something unique or do something better, and here's the thing. The only attempts at it have been so bad that better isn't that hard.
Gotcha.
I haven't heard that one yet.
If you want to make the next, the next great first person shooter, like you're gonna have being better than the great first person shooters out there requires a tremendous amount of effort. Sim games are still, it's still such a, there's still so few sim games. I'm not saying that I'm willing to make something bad just because bad is better than
right.
awful.
No.
But it feels like sim games are kind of stuck in the 90s almost.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at what, like, RimWorld is one of the most successful sim games of all time at this point. And it's great. It's really, really great. But imagine if the number of developers that were working on first-person shooters were to work on sim games, you know, where we'd be at in terms of depth and production values at this point. We'd probably be in an entirely different universe of sim games. Maybe it's just that they're hard to make. Maybe they're hard for teams to make. I don't know exactly what it is. It's not like they don't sell well. They certainly do. But the big studios just aren't drawn to sim games and strategy games very much. Maybe the market really is a lot smaller. But yeah, it's the sort of thing where I'm like, I can create this entire simulation, and it doesn't require. I will say that there's some things that are hard about it. Like, most people don't really understand climate science and earth science. That sort of thing. You know, it's not something where we have a huge background as gamers, right? If you want to go make a first person shooter, you at least have the background of having played 1,000 of them before.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and trying to build a game that is about, like, how the earth operates. Now, I'm not trying to build a game that, like, feels like something you play on a museum kiosk by any stretch of the imagination. I want it to be a game that, like, no more sort of science-y than Civilization is a history game.
Right.
You know? But at the same time, everything about Civilization really is based on historical concepts and historical figures and all that. And I think that the more that they do there, the more it lends itself, you know, there's the more connection we have to it. And you know, maybe another angle on it is Kerbal Space Program really does use you know, real science,
and it's a fantastic game too.
Right.
Yeah, they mix it up with a bunch of silliness at the same time. And so you know, again, I'm not trying to make something that you play on a museum kiosk, but I think that probably the percentage of developers that really understand the earth science is probably pretty low.
Well, I got to say, just personally, I wish you the absolute best luck with doing that, because that game sounds amazing to me. It really does.
Awesome.
I actually think it would be an important game, given, you know, in the same way that Civilization, it may not be a history game, but you can learn a lot from Civilization.
Right.
It kind of feels like that, where you could actually be helping people come to a better realization on, you know, various impacts to our planet, which is among the most important things that anything could do. So yeah, I seriously, I hope that project goes extremely well. We'll definitely follow you.
Thanks.
Please keep us in the loop on it.
Yeah, same here. I just want to add one thing. I really appreciate and respect, like, your hustle and drive, because, like, you know, you talk about making a game like Monaco that, like, pretty much no one has ever done before, and now you're tackling, you know, a climate simulator. Like, man, that, like, you're like the OG, one of the OGs of indie games, and it's like, it gets me pretty excited, like, just thinking about it, because then, you know, when I think about indie games, like, a lot of times, those are the things that shape my interest in the games, and yeah, it's just great for you to talk about those things, because, you know, I personally, for me, I don't really think about climate simulators as much, or in that kind of era, but man, like, that's, wow.
Oh,
I
dude.
would say.
I used to play the heck out of this little rocket simulator. I people eat that stuff up. They do. I know people who are addicted to Civilization. It's got a huge audience.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, like SimCity is probably my target in terms of
oh yeah,
how I want it to feel, in terms of sort of how, you know, the complexity and how fun it is. But then you got to mix in the, like, Kerbal Space Program aspect, that it's like, well, we're not talking about city management. We're talking about science in its own right. But, you know, I do you know, making evolving a sentient creature, or, you know, making essentially the the life the Earth version of a megalopolis is kind of the goal of the game. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it sounds incredible.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
I mean that. It sounds utterly incredible.
Thanks.
Thanks. So first of all, jumping back into Monaco for just a little bit. First of all, we are very, very excited that the game is actually on Switch. So thank you for putting it out. It's among the best, most fun co-op games I've ever played. So it's just great. Who is your favorite character to play as?
I have a hard time. I like playing as the pickpocket just because I like listening to the cute little monkey.
Yeah.
If you are really like, the easiest character is the gentleman. So if you really struggle on a level, then you definitely go with the gentleman. And other than that, yeah, I think I probably just got to go with the pickpocket. I might go with the hacker because I really like getting the little viruses are also like little pets. It's kind of it's like the warlock hunter dichotomy where the pickpocket is kind of the hunter and the hacker is kind of the warlock. So I'm a pet. I'm a pet player. I like playing with pets. So those are probably my favorites.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the hacker personally.
I like them all. It's
of course. Someone always likes them all.
Okay. What games are you currently playing, or what are your favorite games to play, either in the office or with your friends, or whenever you actually do get the time to play games when you're not creating world-breaking simulators?
I'm actually playing Return of the Obra Dinn on Switch right now.
Oh man, very nice.
There we go.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking amazing. My daughter, my 4-year-old daughter always wants me to turn on Breath of the Wild to play with her. So I play that a fair amount. I just recently broke down and said, God damn it, I'll play Undertale fine. And so I'm playing Undertale right now. And I'm like, it pisses me off because I'm like, this is so charming and so bad at the same time, but I got to keep going because it's so damn charming.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a game that's like, I don't like it, but I love it. So I'm playing through it.
Love hate.
All right.
So I guess that's what I'm playing right now.
I completely
And I
agree.
just finished Untitled Goose Game.
Ooh.
Oh man, awesome game.
I played that one with my 4-year-old. That's like the perfect game to play with your 4-year-old daughter because like being a naughty goose is like the absolute like ideal life form for a 4-year-old.
All right.
So, if you woke up tomorrow and your life had a new camera angle, what would it be and why?
A new camera angle. Oh my god. You're gonna make me want to make dirty jokes here.
Oh.
I mean, if that's where you go.
I'm down to hear it.
I hate to say that was the first thing that came to mind. Now I can't get it out of my head, so yeah, I'm not going to answer that question.
All right.
You can leave it in the interview, but I'm not going to answer it.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so a question that we actually do need an answer on in this interview. Yeah. So, we all know that video games make us worse people. They make us violent.
Yes.
They kill our brain cells, everything like that. So I don't know if you heard, but earlier today, a German castle, it was a vault heist, actually, and like hundreds of priceless artifacts. So what do you think Monaco's involvement with the German castle vault heist was today?
Well, I am positive that the thieves used the editor in Monaco to model the vault and test out their plans. So it's definitely Monaco is what they used in order to make sure that they could get away with it. Mm-hmm. I only know this because in thanks, they went and bought 2 million copies of Monaco from me yesterday.
Hey, so everything has a bright side, right?
Right.
No, that's awesome. So yeah, Andy, thanks so much for coming on the show. Obviously, we want to, follow you. We love Monaco. We will continue supporting you out there. Where can people find you?
A few different places. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Andy Schatz, ANDYSCHATZ. You can also find the company account at Pocketwatch G if you want just information about the games rather than development. You can also find us on Discord at discord.gg/Pocketwatch. Pretty active Discord, largely for Tooth and Tail, but also Monaco. And then come watch me develop my next game on Twitch at twitch.tv/Pocketwatch.
Sweet.
Yeah, we will definitely do that and keep an eye out.
Hell
like
yeah.
I said, please keep us updated with new developments and such. Otherwise, we'll just be over here playing your game. So, hey, thanks again so much for coming on. Really
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much.
And we will keep an eye on you.
All right. Thanks a lot.